A temporary mask mandate will be imposed on public transport in Sydney after one new locally acquired case of COVID-19 was detected overnight. The list of exposure sites is also growing. Reporter Lara Hyams has the details.
We did see that masks will be mandatory on public transport from 4 p.m. today. So this is really around the Sydney area, and it does include the Blue Mountains. The area where it will be excluded from, though, will be around the Central Coast and Wollongong. So perhaps not as blanket banned as what we had thought it would be or what it had been in the past. There were also some recommendations that when you are in an area, in an enclosed space where there are gatherings, to be wearing a mask and also really keep up that vigilance where it comes to QR codes and also hand sanitisers. Obviously, we know that health officials are really cracking down on this and trying to remain vigilant after a new case was discovered. This was a man in his 50s, and it's believed that he actually contracted the virus from the Bondi Junction shopping centre. This was likely to happen on June the 12th. This was specifically in the Myer department store. Now, it's not really a surprise that this case has been picked up within that vicinity. This is related to another case, the original case that was involving a man aged in his 60s. He was a limousine driver working to ferry around international travel crew who had just touched down in Australia. He did present 4 symptoms on the 15th of June, and yesterday health officials said that it's likely that he would have been infectious earlier than that, from the 11th to the 12th of June. So this really does match up with some of the expectations that health officials had.
To be able to work out where the additional case and cases from yesterday actually crossed over within literally hours is just outstanding. And I think it shows the type of robustness in the system we have. It's far from perfect, no system is, but it is evolving. I'm not going to pretend we're not concerned about what might happen in the next few days, but we feel at this stage what we've asked the public to do is proportionate to the risk.
So, Lara, how many more exposure sites are there now?
Well, yesterday we saw about 10 or so exposure sites that were listed there. We had an additional 5 this morning. Some of those sites included the Northmead Bowling Club, Lorna Jane in Zetland, East Village Shopping Centre, also in Zetland, the Health Emporium in Bondi, Harris Farm, Leichhardt, and adding to that list from the press conference earlier today that the Premier just gave, Redfern, North Sydney, Campbelltown and Newtown have also been classified as close contact venues. Now, in addition to that, there is a public school, the Yates Avenue Public School. This is located in Sydney's northwest. That is going to be closed today for on-site teaching and learning. This was after a number of staff made it known to New South Wales Health that they had been in some of those potential exposure sites and also those close contact venues. So they will be self-isolating and getting COVID testing. So it's quite a building case, developing case. They're hoping for the best, that it won't be spreading too far.
Yeah, and what's the latest on how other states and territories are reacting to what's happening?
Yeah, well, we saw a swift response yesterday. We did see West Australia declaring those people who have been in some of those COVID hotspots that they would need to quarantine for 14 days. Queensland has actually introduced basically what they call a traffic light system. So if you have not been to any of the COVID hotspot, you do have a freedom to get through. They're also going to issue what they call amber pass, so middle of the road passes. So that would be for people who are travelling to Queensland who have been to an interstate exposure site, and with that there will be specific quarantine conditions upon their arrival. And of course, declared hotspots, they're going to be classified as red hot zones, and their advice is you're not coming to Queensland. You will not be permitted into the state for that. Also, the ACT had said that one of the confirmed cases had visited earlier in the week, and they did put up some of the venues on their website too.
Thanks, Lara.